I take this opportunity, Wapenzi and all the guests who are here. I want to take this privilege to greet you in the name of Jesus. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay. Thank you, Pastor, for the privilege and the opportunity you have given us. You have given me to speak on behalf of the family, on behalf of heaven, precisely about the elder who has slept. We were with my wife. Where is she? Can you salute? Okay. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, on behalf of Seventh-day Adventist Church, South Kenya Conference, I want to convey our sincere condolences to the family of Elder Osoro. And we want to say, may the grace of God comfort you so much, especially at this time. I know this elder. He has been one of the elders in the Nyanjo Adventist Church, and he has done his best as an elder, as well as he was a family member. He comes from the same place where we are staying. I know what you have said and what you have seen is exactly the way he lived. Now, I want to take this privilege to read only one text. The rest will be references from the book of Revelation, chapter 14, verses 13. I hope, Pastor, you have your Bible. Don't go anywhere, because I will request you to do that. Our text today is from the book of Revelation. Ufunuo 14 fungu la 13. Okomanoka egesieri 14 ebungo 13. That will be our text in this service. Thank you, Pastor. You have the microphone.
The Bible reads, "Then I heard a voice from heaven saying to me, Write, blessed are the dead who die in the Lord from now on. Yes, says the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors and their works for them."
Thank you so much. The text is from the book, the last book of the New Testament. It's the book which gives the summary of many things in the Bible. The book was written by the beloved disciple John, and the messages in the book are messages of comfort and hope. And by the time when this message came to John, John was in exile in the island of Patmos. He was there because he bear the testimony about Jesus, and he was persecuted, and that one was part of his take, whereby he was arrested and he was placed in the island of Patmos. While he was there, God revealed to him so many things. Actually, the book of Revelation gives the beginning of the great controversy, the great battle between good and evil, and also it gives the end of the controversy that is between good and evil. How it started in heaven and how it will end. So it is a good book which gives a lot of comfort, especially the one at this time was John the Revelator. He was there waiting for his day. He didn't know when he would die. He needed comfort from Jesus himself, for whom he suffered or was suffering. And this text which is here is one of the comfort which came to John while he was there waiting for his day. Because the text says that he had a voice. No, the book has so many visions. Well, the author says he had, and it's clear. At this time, the verse was, blessed are those who die in the Lord. That was very comforting to John, because the next move, the next step in his life was to die, because he did not expect to come out of the prison again. So that text to him was very comforting, because it was like, John, though your next step is death, but be comforted that after this there is much more. Now, in the Bible, the word blessed is used in many places, but this text speaks about a person who's blessed when he has all died. Now, in many cultures, in many places, people don't use the word blessed are those who die. Hakuna watu wengi wanafurahia kifo. Then is an enemy, and nobody, no human being in a normal way ambaye anafurahia, who is happy about that. But this one of the texts in the Bible, which speaks about death in a positive way, but this one is a specific kind of death, which is those who die in the Lord. So, the opposite of it, I don't want to talk about it. There is the opposite of that text, which says, cursed are those people who die without the Lord. I don't want to dwell on that one, but remember that one also is there. While the text is there, blessed are those who die in the Lord, there is another one which says, cursed are those who die without the Lord. So I will dwell in the positive side now. In our culture, where the elder died, death was not something or a stage in life which was celebrated. No. However, when somebody was of age, like 100 years or so, people used to celebrate a bit, but yet it is not something which people did celebrate, because it is a place where one goes and they doesn't come again. Actually, in our culture, Abagusi, they have this proverb which reveals that death is not something so good, so precious, as the Bible said. They say, that means the cycle of the monthly cycle of the moon, it goes and it comes. But once somebody has died, it does not come again. So that one gives a picture that in the Kisi community, that was not something which people were happy about, and even those who were to die, they had no hope about it. It was the end of the story and the end of it. And by the way they used to do it when somebody has died, it's not the way we do it today, where people stand here and talk and do all these things. They used to destroy things in the family. They used to cut plants and everything, because there is no hope. And many other cultures, there is something which people see as an enemy, and it is so. But in this case, we are considering the kind of death, the Bible says, blessed are those who die in the Lord. So that death is qualified. It is in the Lord. Why? Actually, the Bible, also in the book of Psalms 116 verse 15, there is another one which says, let me paraphrase it by saying, it says, precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints, or his saints. That is Psalms 116 verse 15. Kwa hivyo, ndani ya Biblia hii, this is the only book which gives hope to a certain kind of people who die in a specific kind of death. There is no other book. The Indians, they have their own books, their own Bible. Let me put it so. For them, they say someone dies, he goes to another form, and then he's born in another form. If he was good, he's born in another something which is better. If he was bad, he's born in something bad, which they call the transmigration of the soul. And there are many people in the contemporary world. They have copied some of those things, and we hear them every time from over the radio. That is why you hear people say, Mungu aweke moyo wake mahali pema, peponi. That is the contemporary world, especially in Kenya. People believe that they can pray to anybody who has died, and God can do something about the dead. Wanaamini kwamba umuntu anonyo kunjelele yonse tabo barakuwa nalingana wose basale nyasaye nabwata mabera agukingi state yeyo umuntu yagenda asakale kurukwa agaya asagaya, which is another area which we don't want to talk now. But in the Bible, I want to go to that now. Now, why is somebody who dies in the Lord blessed? And who is this the Lord? In another way, who is this the Lord? Who is this Christ? Whom, if you die in him, you are counted as somebody blessed. Yesu yoyo ekero wa kule meaye ebukwema tebanga no sesenirie. It is also good to say that in brief. Now, in brief, this world where you are is a world which is sentenced, or which was sentenced to death because of sin. The Bible says, for the wages of sin is death. That is Romans 6 verses 23. And when we go over many verses in this book, it gives explanation that there was time in the book of Genesis, God created a perfect human being, and he gave him life which does not end. Man was to live as God lives forever, but with a condition. If he was to be obedient, if he was to obey the instructions of God. And the simple instruction which he was given, that's Adam and Eve, the first parents, was that they should eat all the fruits in the garden except one. That fruit which knows good and evil. But unfortunately, they did not do that. Instead, they ate the forbidden fruit, and then death came. So the kind of death you are seeing as an origin, according to the Bible, the origin of what you are seeing is because man disobeyed his creator, God. And that is why we are here. But yet, the same Bible has given hope to this man. That is the foreign man, the man who has disobeyed God. And that one hope is found only in one person, and that is Jesus Christ. The Bible says in the book of Luke chapter 19 verse 10, it says, "For the Son of Man came to seek and save the lost." That means that text is giving why God is leaving this world to exist even now. God has only one agenda for this world. Only one. To save you. That is why we are existing. All other things which are getting here and there, things which are people, business and what have you, they are covered by one word. God has a program of saving. And that means taking man from death to life. Because we chose to die. And God has come up with the program of bringing that man from where we are, from death to life. Because the Bible says, all of us, because we were Adam, became sinners. So we deserve death. But God, because of love, He has made a way out of this problem. And this way is through Jesus Christ. And that is why the Bible is very clear that those who have come to Christ, those who will receive this Christ, and even though they die, that kind of death is termed as precious or blessed. So, this elder who has died, Elder Soro, according to me and according to what he lived, he has fulfilled God's agenda in his life. You know, some people say so many things during the funeral, they forget God's agenda. Yes, kuna watoto ameacha, kuna mambo mengi. But that is not God's agenda mainly. What is it? When he died, did he die with the Lord? That is the only one agenda which God is so much interested in, and very much in particular. And that is why I've taken this text today. Because the one who has died, according to all what we can say, he fulfilled God's agenda. So we have all the boldness to say that here is one person who died after fulfilling God's agenda. How did he do it? And for many of you who don't know, how can you be among those, if you die, the Bible will say of you, you are blessed. What do you do? Simple steps. Because that is the center of interest now. The one who died died as an elder. What does that mean? One person who had God's agenda, which is one, and they fulfilled it, and it is done. What do you do? The Bible is clear. The world has two groups of people. Two. Only two. You must be in one of these groups. Those who have accepted to move and fulfill God's agenda, and those who have refused. There are only two groups. Those who have accepted God's agenda for the human race, or those who have refused God's agenda. And the agenda have said it. The Bible said it. Salvation. Now, this word is big. Do we need to be saved from where? What does that mean? Let me say very briefly. Now, because we became sinners, a sinner deserves to die. Not just this death you are seeing. It is to die forever. It is like saying the price, the wage of a sinner is eternal death. And that is what it means when you are a sinner. When you are a sinner and you remain to be a sinner, what you deserve is eternal death, because that is what we chose after all in Adam. That is one. So, man, by birth, whoever, wherever you are, under the planet Earth, you are either under death or alive. But when you are born with this first stage. The first step is, I know I am a sinner, I deserve to die. Because that is what I deserve. That is our problem. Number 2, God will only take good people to heaven. Some of you, almost all of you here are good people. By birth, when we fall, when you become a sinner, you are living to do what is evil only. And not only by willingness, but you are forced to do evil because you are born in that state. The book of Psalms 51 verse 5 says, "Behold, I was sharpened in iniquity." So even when you were in your mother's womb, you were manufactured with that character of doing evil. So when you come out, you come out somebody who's prone and who's compelled. The other word, who's a slave of sin. Kwa hivyo, that is a problem we have as human beings. Wherever you are, irrespective from where you come from, that is a problem which is there, and the Bible has put it so. And finally, we have another problem. Even when you are good, you are living in a world where people are not good. They can torture you, they can persecute you, not only so you can suffer like the elders suffer, the kind of suffering, and finally, you are in agony, and there are many issues around you. So again, God has a plan how to take us from that state. So, now, how do you change from the stage where you are to the stage or a stage where you will be a person who is blessed before the Lord? When Jesus died at the cross of Calvary, the Bible says, that is in the book of John 19 verses 30, says, it is finished. And that leaves a lot of explanation in the Bible. But what he did, when Jesus died, because Jesus is the one who was sent to implement God's program of saving man. So when he died at the cross of Calvary, he paid the price for which all sinners deserve to pay, which we call the wages of sin. He took your punishment and the punishment. And then when he died, he declared that I have paid, I have taken the penalty, the punishment of every sinner under the sun. That is where you are. I know some of you don't know. The way you are, somebody has purchased you by his dear blood. And that's Jesus Christ. Amen. He bought you the way you are.